This is the all-new 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 6 Preferred long-range all-wheel drive with the Ultimate Package. Prices in Canada start at $55,000 for the long-range rear-wheel drive model, and this one with the $6,000 Ultimate Package is just over $64,000. In the USA, prices start at $41,600 for the SE short range rear-wheel drive, and this one as tested is the limited model at $56,100. Under the controversial looking skin, there are two electric motors. Together they make 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. It drives all four wheels via an automatic transmission, and it does full one-pedal driving, but only forwards and only after you turn on the iPedal mode every single time you get in the car. It has a 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which operates at 697 volts. The onboard charger goes up to 10.9 kilowatts for level 2 AC charging, and it also supports up to 350 kilowatt DC fast charging, so the quickest it can charge is from 10 to 80% in about 18 minutes. At home, of course, with your level 2 chargers, it will take from 7 to 10 hours depending on how fast your charger is and how empty the car is to begin with. With the Ultimate Package, you also get vehicle-to-load ability, which means that you can use the car to power some appliances inside or outside of the car. Very cool stuff. Now, performance is very good. Without being too crazy, 0 to 60 miles per hour comes in 4.4 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour comes in 4.8 seconds. The reverse procedure from 100 kilometers to 0 takes about 43 meters, and from 60 to 0 takes about 124 feet. So the brakes are also quite good. When driving, it's absolutely silent. There is the active sound design, so you can pick some synthesized sounds, but you know what? The best is to leave it at no sound at all. That's perfect. That's how you're supposed to drive it. One thing I find really cool is that if you pick the My Mode driving mode, the other ones are Eco, Sport, and Normal, you can pick how much power output to have, so you can maximize that. You can have the throttle pedal acceleration, like sensitivity, so little or whatever. The steering can be set to sport or, city or comfort or whatever, but the really interesting setting is the drive line. So you can pick between all-wheel drive, like permanent all-wheel drive. You can have auto all-wheel drive, so it's primarily rear-wheel drive, and whenever needed, the front axle will kick in. Or you can have it permanently in two-wheel drive, which means it also has less power. You can feel the difference. So it's kind of like you get the rear-wheel drive model. Handling is very good. The way the car feels around you is so perfectly cut to fit. The driving position is perfect. The seats are amazing. The steering wheel is also pretty nice in the hands and looks quite nice. Visibility is very good, so this is a very easy car to drive. It feels like you sit very low. You can feel the center of gravity being very low as well. The car feels very sporty, and the steering is super accurate. The best way I can describe it is like you're driving a sports car from the 90s, but you're driving it inside a mall on marble floors. So you have none of the vibrations and the shakiness and all that stuff. But it's so amazing how low and planted this thing feels. And it fits perfectly. It's like it's tailored for my body. But honestly, it is a very satisfying car to drive. Like, I was really surprised. I'd say the biggest difference between this and its sibling, the Ioniq 5, other than the looks, is the way they drive. This one feels so, planted is an understatement. This feels so good. It's a very, very nice car to drive. I'm very pleasantly surprised, and I think it's probably one of the highlights of this thing. It leans as little as possible in the turns, grip limits are really high, and if you push it really hard, it actually becomes playful. It's understeery to begin with, but then you can kind of bring the tail into the game. I just wish it had a little bit more power, so now I'm really excited to see the end version that will hopefully come out soon. On the other hand, comfort levels are superb. Over bumps, most of the impact is absorbed well, you feel very little, it's quiet while doing so. It is surprisingly comfortable based on the way it handles. I am really impressed with the drive overall. Outside, the looks are controversial as I mentioned. Others like it a lot, others don't like it at all. I like it without being too crazy about it. I do like the Ioniq 5 better in terms of looks, but I don't dislike this one at all. Inside, it's much closer to the things that I actually really like. The design is futuristic. It has some very neat tricks. However, there is a downside regarding quality and fit and finish. There are some really plasticky looking areas, and the fit and finish isn't perfect everywhere. I did hear a few rattles coming from the B-pillar behind the seat here. Normally, I should have cared a lot about that. It was minor, but because the car is so nice to drive, it makes up for it. So I don't care as much as I should. The tech in here is pretty good, minus the fact that CarPlay and Android Auto are wired. You do get a good infotainment system, a nice instrument cluster, you get a heads-up display, excellent driving assistance, wireless charging, lots of USB ports, and some nice features like a little moonroof, heated and ventilated front seats, heated wheel, heated rear seats, and a pretty good Bose sound system. Roominess is also great. Under the center console, you have lots of space for storage. The rear seats have crazy legroom, but kind of limited headroom. The trunk, however, has a power lid and more than adequate capacity. The front is like Helen's breasts. They're really small and difficult to access, so nobody will really care to use it. In conclusion, overall, I have to say that finally, the Tesla Model 3 has a bang-on competitor that's actually better to look at, nicer to drive, but does lack the supercharger network and, of course, the ability to watch Netflix and stuff while you're waiting around. So technology is good, but it's still not as good as Tesla. However, this one, compared to the basic rear-wheel drive Tesla, has better range, because this one, in the big battery, like the long-range rear-wheel drive, will go up to 361 miles or 580 kilometers. So the range is there. This specific one, with the 20-inch wheels and the Ultimate Package and all that jazz, will only go 270 miles or 435 kilometers. So still good, but not as good as some Teslas. And check out these pretty cool features. The doors are groovy and they have pretty good ambient light at night. The door handles pop out as you approach the car, and that's how you open the door. And there's many places in the car, like right here under the charger, that you have these pixel theme steering wheel over there around outside the car. You see it almost everywhere. It's pretty cool. Overall score for the Ioniq 6 that we have here today is 8.9 out of 10. I really like this car. I hope you like this car too. I hope you like this video. So please share it with your friends. Leave us a like, a comment, whatever you want. Most importantly, till next time, be well. Bye-bye.
Perfect.